Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is going to be for the movie called Bumblebee. Cybertron has fallen when Optimus Prime sends Bumblebee to defend Earth. His journey to become a hero begins. Charlie Watson, a teenager trying to find her place in the world, discovers and repairs the battle scarred robot, who's disguised as a Volkswagen Beetle. As the Decepticons hunt down the surviving Autobots with the help of a secret agency led by Agent Burns, Bumblebee and Charlie team up to protect the world in an action packed adventure that's fun for the whole family. This is a 2018 film. It's rated PG 13, runs 113 minutes, and it stars Haley Steinfeld, John Cena, Jorge Lindenberg Jr., John Ortiz, Jason Drucker, and Pamela Adlon. This is Bumblebee. Well, I'll start off by saying why I didn't watch this in theater. It was during Christmas, and there was just a lot of movies to go see. And I was kind of in the crowd, and I have kind of my personal emotions that say I was a little tired of the Transformers movies. I wasn't really looking forward to another one, even if it was a branch off, like it was with Bumblebee. There's just a lot of factors into, seeing something else other than this, not wanting to see this because of Transformer movies kind of being boring the last couple years. It's been a while since they've had a Transformers one, so I just was holding on to that feeling of saying that all Transformers movies are kind of boring, and I just didn't want to go see this in theater. And then, personally, being a wrestling fan, I just have kind of had my limit of John Cena kind of being an awful actor in a couple of things, especially last year. So I just wasn't looking forward to this for personal reasons more than anything. So I know a lot of people have seen it. I know a lot of, maybe you can be on my side that it seemed a little stupid, or maybe you were just really excited to see it. But I think it's kind of a split down the line kind of a situation because it is, a well done movie, and it was out at Christmas, so I'm sure a lot of people saw it. So here's my thoughts. I kind of ended up making columns for my notes, the good stuff and bad stuff. And so I think it's, just fitting that Bumblebee starts with a B, and I'll probably be leaning on that letter. So B's reactions, the good part of that is when he was just really, you could tell what he was doing by how his face was slanted or something, or his shoulders would rise, or he would sleek back and kind of be a little afraid. I mean, you could tell his body reactions. It really helped certain slow parts just kind of be more entertaining because we could tell what was going on with B and what he was trying to say. And then the bad part, the flip side of that is that the movie was pretty slow because we had to be enduring these times of quietness, these times of trying to figure stuff out, these times of setting things up. And I know that a lot of movies that are like this have to have that, but I mean, not every single one does. You can kind of separate yourself a little bit if you kind of fast forward that process. It just makes it easier for everybody because they kind of know what's coming, especially the Transformers movies. You got the Decepticons, you got the Autobots, and you kind of know that's the main issue, the main thing going on. So they really do play on the emotions in this movie. There's a lot going on between Charlie and her storyline and her life and everything going on with family. and there's a lot going on with B because he's kind of the lone survivor of the beginning scene, and so he's got a lot of stuff going on. Even as a machine, you can still tell that there's just a lot going on with him and how he's feeling and how he's maybe a little bit alone and maybe he's a little bit afraid of being on a new planet. I mean, like, it's just crazy to think about, but that's why Transformers movies usually are good, because they do have that element to these machines, to these robots, that they're very personable and they very much have emotions. So that was good. The flip side of that, I would say, why just maybe a little bit too much emotion, is that we really, really get to know Charlie. And I'm not really sure if we really need to for one movie here. Like, you could introduce her, you could talk about her for a little bit, but we get so much of her storyline and everything about why she is acting out and why she's arguing and why she's feeling like this that one day, and why she's not getting along with those kids, and we get so much of her that I think maybe is a little bit too much. The thing that pops up in my head is the Ninja Turtles movie, where it just kind of like focused on April O'Neil for like 20 minutes, and everybody was outraged. We're like, hey, where's the Turtles? This is a Turtles movie. And they kind of made it all about April O'Neil. And I kind of felt like that in this, where I could have used less of Charlie. It's like I wanted to know more about Bumblebee, and I know there's not that much to digress or explain, and you can't prolong it and you can't stretch it out, but I just could have used less of her and more of Bumblebee. Just I'll keep it at that. The humor is good. I laughed at a lot of different things. I thought one scene in particular was hilarious with Bumblebee and some eggs. That was just really, really funny. And I didn't laugh at a lot of stuff because it was just dry. I don't know why this is a thing nowadays when people just like talk like, well, I guess you're going to do that then. Okay, well, why don't we just go do that then? Okay. And like this one girl, makes a joke about somebody dying. It's like, that's not funny. Like, why do we have to have that in there just to make her seem even more of what a mean person than she is? I mean, I just don't get the strategy of the humor. Like, we're trying to do things, and Cena gets to cuss a couple times, even though it's a PG-13 movie. There's opportunities to create humor that people have, advantages when they're making a movie. They have really great opportunities to add humor to their movie. And I felt like this one had the obvious ones and the ones that I'm struggling to see that as a joke. Like, it was just kind of a both ways, very far to the left and very far to the right. And I just kind of found myself in the middle of the movie just kind of wondering, like, oh, I like this scene, oh, I hate that scene. And that's just kind of how it ends up going. So, movies that this reminded me of, I have it back here somewhere, is Chappie. I know not everybody's seen that. It's a sci-fi. It's a little out there and everything, but it was one of the most amazing movies I've ever seen about a robot and trying to be personable and with emotions. And my goodness, everybody, if you have seen Chappie and you've seen Bumblebee, you can't deny like how much of this movie of Bumblebee that they have him being a timid robot, like how much him and Chappie just look identical, literally. For like an hour of this movie or more, they play up this, Bumblebee being, just shy and timid, and it's like a carbon copy of Chappie. So the whole time I was thinking, that this isn't very original. It's not a very original way to handle Bumblebee. Um, and he has his shining moment in the beginning to look really tough. And he has the ending to look really tough. And everything in between is him just being this little timid little robot that doesn't want to be on Earth and doesn't want to scare anybody and doesn't want to touch this thing because he doesn't know what it does, and it's just kind of crazy. And but it's like really, Chappie too, if you will. So the other one that you just can't deny that this is like Herbie, with the way that they do the action scenes of Bumblebee being a car. Um, it's meant to be kind of entertaining because he's doing these different things, and they have a couple car chases, but we've seen it before. Like Herbie is the ultimate example of a movie that is made to be funny and have weird funny car things. And like EA, Bumblebee has to be in that category. So who does it better? I think Herbie is a lot more funny, just genuinely for the family. And this is kind of, just really interesting and really cool action scenes and really great graphics. Probably way better than Herbie could ever think about being, but you still fall in the same category and you're not as funny as him. So the only other movie that I think I'd like to compare this to is there's a wrestling movie that was out this last year. It was a really big hit for the wrestling world called Fighting with My Family. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine. If you never will, that's fine. But the girl in that, Fighting with My Family, and the girl in here, Charlie, Bumblebee, they're kind of the same character. Like, they're meant to be kind of a loser and to have a certain hobby in their life that kind of makes them an outcast, but they embrace it. And, maybe they have some adventure in the movie that brings them to be really courageous and stand out among everybody else because of the lifestyle they've chosen. And then the ending is kind of, happy and very family friendly. And I think Bumblebee and Fighting with My Family are kind of the same storyline in that sense, with the girls, going through the same struggles and kind of looking alike, to be honest. So, where do I go from here, right? Everything that was a positive was also a negative. Cena did not really ruin this for me. He wasn't in enough of it, but some of his aneurysms, some of his facial expressions, some of his over the top attitude on acting just kind of murked me a little bit, but it didn't ruin anything. And I enjoyed myself. I laughed, but I thought some things were stupid. This movie is not original at all, but it is entertaining. It's easy to watch. It's easy to enjoy yourself. So I'll suggest to watch it. I might have to watch it again someday just to say, okay, where are we at in the Transformers storyline and everything. Everything's really interesting. This probably does play a part, but honestly, I just can't ever be completely infatuated with a movie like this because of its similarities with other movies, not being original, not being all that funny, not impressing me. The worst thing I really did see about this movie, and I didn't say it yet, is the mother. She is like the driest person, and she just doesn't really add anything to anything. But that's just the kind of movie it was. It was an up and down. It was a, oh, I hate this, oh, I enjoy that, oh, I really laughed at that, oh, I can't laugh at that at all because I don't know if that's a joke. And so with this kind of movie, I usually give a C, but I really actually liked the good parts, and I kept finding myself saying that I'm not finding a lot wrong with this in a negative, horrible way. I'm really enjoying myself most of the time. So I'll give Bumblebee, it starts with a B, I'll give it a B grade. And I do suggest watching it. It's a good time. If you're not over analytic about it as I am in my 15-minute review I've done here, then thanks for watching the whole review. I think you'll enjoy the movie if you just enjoy it. A B for Bumblebee. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. Thanks a lot.